Taking this moment to connect with our intention for today. Physically in our body, the focus will be on the low back, even a little bit of the sacrum, and also some of the surrounding areas. The low back muscles tend to be a little bit weaker than some of the surrounding muscles like the hips and the hamstrings. So we'll make sure to include all of those good areas. And in this way, we're helping that low back to have not only a little bit of strengthening, but also really good gentle stretching. So that's our physical focus. And so think of the low back as, that spot of the spine that's quite a bit further down than other spots. Think of this as the quality of grounding. We're sending energy down, and in doing that, we're helping ourselves just feel better. So in our life around us and emotionally, the more energy we send down toward those rooting, nurturing qualities, the better we tend to feel in our life. We're less in that anxious, frazzled, stress state, and we're sending some of that energy down toward the earth to take care of us, to nurture us, to help us just feel better within our bodies. So that's our physical and our deeper metaphorical practice today. So already with that idea, let's go ahead and start taking knees into the chest. Let's do a few nice movements, just gentle rocking left and right. And check in with how that low back and that sacrum feel. Maybe you take moments where the knees are pulled in tighter and you rock, and then moments where the knees are a bit further and you rock, just to check all around that area. Keep these deep, wonderful breaths flowing. Then we'll begin to extend this left leg long, releasing it to the floor. Keep some energy in the left leg, so that way that leg isn't just kind of flopping open. It's active and it's solidly rooted in the earth. And then right hand slides to outside of right foot for half happy baby. Just take a few moments to breathe into the hip here. Notice how by keeping that strength in this left side, notice that the hip and the sacrum are able to stay pretty much flat on the ground. If you were to kind of release that left side, you would start tilting open to that right. So instead we've got that strength, and that's what leads us to that greater rooted quality. Now from here, begin to swivel this foot in toward the heart. We're grabbing onto the foot with both hands and pulling it in as if one day we could try to touch that foot to the sternum. Now if this tweaks the knee in any bad way, just go to the point where it still feels okay. But to the extent that it's still pleasant, continue to invite it inward. Deep inhale. And then exhale, start to slide this left thigh in. Right foot goes onto that left thigh. We give it a nice hug. Feel how that right hip gets just a little bit deeper. Depending on which variation you like better, you can either keep this left knee bent, or you can straighten the left leg up and grip a little bit higher, including hamstring as well as hip. And letting that leg bend again. The legs in this unit fall all the way over to the left. You can open up the arms and establish the shoulders at the root of this pose. So shoulders stay very grounded. Arms can open if that feels good. And we do want to be stretching through outer right hip or thigh So if you don't feel that, either take your left hand and push that right knee more upward, or swing both legs a little bit closer to the left shoulder. And here we just slowly progress through these poses, easing them gentle, easing them deeper. And crossing the ankle, feet are back onto the floor. Let's do a few windshield wipers, knees left and knees right. Just a few good rounds, making sure that anything that was tight about that right side is getting that chance to free its way out. When that feels pretty good, we'll let this right leg start to reach long on the ground, send a little bit of energy, a little bit of activity, solidness to that side. That's where our root is in this shape. And then left hand grabs outside of left foot. Swivel it open to half happy baby and just pause for a few good rounds. It's like the deeper we ground into the right side, at the same time that we pull the left knee open, the deeper we feel this, not only on that left hip, but also this right psoas, the front of that hip. And gripping both hands onto that foot, we'll start to pull left foot into the sternum. When right leg starts to return inward, place left ankle to right thigh, give that right side a big hug. Beginning to release the right leg higher if you liked that option before. Maybe walk the hands a little bit higher up that side. Eventually letting the knee bend. We send both legs in this unit to the right. And the arms are again that root. So feel yourself grounded in that placement. If there's anything we can do to help us feel the stretch, either pushing on the knee or sliding both legs in, you're welcome to take it. When the hips begin to return to the ground, uncross the legs, plant the feet again about as wide as the mat. Do a few more of those windshield wipers, easing into the tight spots. Good, and then a moment to continue to allow the hamstrings to lengthen for us. So we'll take the right leg up to the sky, grab onto it, pull it in, just easing it tighter into that stretch. And begin to let left leg hover right above the ground. When left leg pops up, we switch our grip. Lower right foot right above the ground. And really the big thing here is tugging the top leg into that stretch. So this doesn't have to be necessarily fast, these switches back and forth, but make sure you're feeling that top leg stretch each time. Keep the breath flowing, we're never holding. Let's do one more switch to each leg. Good, and then both knees in. We can roll like a ball 2 or 3 times if you like that feeling. That sensation of rolling across the back and then popping up. Whenever you're satisfied, feel free to head directly to cobbler. Maybe the feet are a little bit further forward than normal for this cobbler. Relaxing the head forward. I like to make sure my head is heavy because when I do that, it pulls all the muscles of my back all the way down to the low back into that stretch. So the more I drop the head down, the more the low back is actually in that stretching. Finding the hands on the floor, begin to walk yourself a little bit closer toward the right knee. And just experience that left half of the low back getting pulled a little bit deeper. Start to walk over to the left side. Okay, when we go back through the center, take a bonus breath or 2. That will ease our spine back toward the straight alignment. Then rising up, we pick up the knees, plant the feet, and we take a reverse tabletop position. So the hands are planted and we take a few breaths, lifting the hips as high as we have the strength for. So the back muscles really engaging, warming up a little bit. So let's try to hold for another count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then lowering the hips down, bring the inner thighs to touch. Start to hug around the thighs. We're placing the hug of the chest directly to the thighs. Then we start to walk one foot forward and the other. We're continuing to progress these steps until the hug is about to release. So it doesn't matter how far that is for you. If it's almost at the beginning or almost at the end, What matters is how this includes our low back so nicely in the stretch. So we're preparing to come out. You want to make sure to support the spine. So find the hands on the floor and then press up. That'll make sure our back muscles don't kind of seize up from immediately working after such a deep stretch. Good. So when the spine's feeling okay, let's widen the legs out. And just an easeful walking forward. We're still warming up, so don't feel like you have to go too deep or too far. I might even encourage you to try to keep your spine just as straight as possible in that low back area, so you can feel slightly that warming up from the work. Good. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, ease your way back up. Let's send our legs underneath us. We're kneeling. Take a couple of breaths, maybe cat-cow, rocking the hips, doing circles, anything that's easing your spine, and especially that low back into a really good spot. Good. Beginning to let the spine come back to neutral. Kick your right leg directly back behind you. Try to balance with left arm forward, so opposites. If this is hard enough, just hold. Otherwise, take an inhale prep. And exhale, elbow and knee can come together underneath. Inhale, length. And repeating, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, this right leg swings directly out, wide to that right side. Tuck the back toes, and we'll take a nice half camel. So rising up high, this left hand goes to left heel. Continue to inch the hips forward. And this right arm, it's nice from the shoulder to just ease it up and back. Good, one more breath cycle. When we return up, we can lower down toward elbows. That brings me into a good inner thigh stretch. If you ever need more, you can inch your way a little bit closer toward the straight leg. Good, back up onto hands. Now the right knee goes down. Allow that left leg to go wide. Sorry, strengthening first, so left leg behind. Right arm forward. Either hold or take your inhale prep. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, reach, And then when the hand goes down now, the leg can go wide. Tuck the back toes, rise up high, half camel, right hand for heel. Hips continue to ease forward, and then this left shoulder arches back into a good angle. Good. When we ease up and out, we can lower down to elbows, inching forward if you need to, or inching towards straight leg. Good, and then taking this knee underneath us. 3 rounds, we'll go back and forth between camel and rabbit. This will be like a super exaggerated cat-cow, just bringing our spine as far forward and backward as we can. So camel, tuck the toes, rise up high, hands to the hips as we push the hips forward. You can even just stay right here or bring hands to heels, continuing to arch the heart. Good. Beginning to ease our way out. Make sure you have that support for the low back. And then going toward rabbit, we can point the toes. Each hand is grabbing for each heel. Set the forehead down in front of you. And then lifting the hips up. This stretches the spine into a really good arch. Pulling shoulder blades away from one another. Good, easing out of rabbit. Go back and forth between those 2 spots just as slowly as we did. 2 more times. So camel, hands to the low back. You don't have to go too far. You can drop hands to heels if you like. Eventually, at your own pace, easing up. Pointing the toes, grabbing the heels, lift the hips up into rabbit. The 3rd round whenever you're ready. Whenever you're satisfied with that last rabbit, you can ease for a moment into child. Just letting the spine relax. Feel that low back receive. And just kind of comprehend what just happened to it. You're welcome to stay a bit longer. When you feel ready for downward facing dog, this first one that we're taking, really set up the low back and the spine first, and then we'll start to play with the legs. So that means knees will be extra bent. We're lifting the hips, lifting the spine really straight, and then maybe we start to ease one leg a little bit straighter, the other. And that way we can see how that low back, getting that set up tall, really does impact the pose. So this will be one of the down dogs that you can stay as long as it still feels helpful until you're ready to come up toward the top of the mat. Whenever you make your way up to the top, just pay extra attention to the low back. What can you do to help it out? Maybe you're making it extra straight with the support of the hands. Maybe you're purposely letting it dangle, but it's a conscious decision. Really tuning into how it feels. Good. And we'll begin to ease our way towards standing. Don't feel like you're in a rush. Maybe you circle the arms up if you like. Good, and as hands come to the heart, let's take the big toes close together. Heels can be slightly separated. This means the inner thighs are squeezing together. Let's begin to sit back like we're going into a chair. Double check that the knees didn't go forward of toes. Instead, the hips went back. Good. We won't go too deep of a twist yet. Just a nice, easy twist. We're going to take the left wrist and hook it on that right thigh. And then just open up the other arm. Just feel how the low back receives. Just the easy type of twist. Good, hands to heart. And then right wrist hooks, left arm opens. Back through the center, straighten the legs. This next one is a balance challenge. We're gonna try to take right ankle to left thigh. And then this left leg we bend, kind of sitting back as we were just a moment ago. That creates a shelf for this thigh to be resting onto. So hands can be at the heart, or maybe hands drop down to knee and ankle. Whatever we're doing, we're helping to ease that right knee open into the hip stretch. Good, rising up enough that we can cross this right leg in front of the left leg, and then continue to roll down. With the cross of the feet like this, we're getting that left leg into the nice IT band stretch. So just ease into that opener for a moment. And uncrossing the feet, ease your spine back up. Once we're up, we can take left ankle onto right thigh. Bending the standing leg creates the shelf. Maybe we can sink lower, perhaps hands dropping to ankle and knee, rotating that knee open. Good, lifting up enough that you can cross this left thigh in front, and then continue to roll our way down. Uncross the feet to rise. And once our head is up, continue to circle the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, ease into that forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fingers go down, the right leg slides back. These next two poses can be done with the back knee lifted. That'll be the deeper balance challenge, or the back knee lowered. That'll be a little bit easier, a little bit more grounded. If you're keeping the knee lifted, just try to keep the heel up. So either way, we're walking our hands up onto that front thigh. And then we're easing a little bit deeper in a twist. So the right wrist will hook or slide further to the elbow for a prayer position. So it is a bit of a balance challenge. That's where dropping the back knee down will make this a lot easier if you wish. Your choice. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, ease your way out of it. If you're on the floor, this will be half split, so you'll just straighten the front leg, drop down. If you've got the back knee lifted, it's more of like a pyramid pose, so the back heel can rotate down now. Front leg is easing its way towards straight, and then we're dropping the heart down. Starting to plant the hands, step the front foot back. You can take child pose, down dog, or a flow. We'll begin to start easing the right foot forward for the second side. So remember, you can have the back knee down, front knee bent for the twist, or you can have back knee lifted. That'll be the deeper balance challenge. Either way, we come up onto that front thigh. We hook the left wrist and open, or hook left elbow and come into that prayer position. Good. Unwinding, the front leg straightens. It's either the half split if you're kneeling, or the pyramid pose if you got that back knee lifted. You can rotate the back heel down at this point. That'll help with balance. So that grounding quality. Front leg straightening. Even the low back trying to elongate just a little bit more. Good. Stepping the front foot back, we can take the same options, child pose, down dog, or a flow. This will be one of those times that we just stay as long as it's still feeling helpful. At some point, we find ourselves toward the top of the mat at forward fold. Take another good inhale. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Good, hands at the heart. So now we'll be playing with different poses, a few different variations of poses, both in the normal variation and in a revolved variation. And we'll notice how the low back and the spine is affected by the different options. So we'll start here, just like we did before with that little balance challenge. So right ankle going to left thigh. We try to bend the standing leg, drop down. This is just a couple of breaths this time. Try to get that right hip opening. Good. And back up to stand. Try to float the right knee in front. Take back through warrior 3. And a gentle land into warrior 1. Arms can sweep up. Good, just an easy twist at first. Right ankle hooks to that left thigh, and then the other arm opens behind. Good, arms return up. Inhale. Exhale, rotate open, warrior 2. Or sorry, warrior 2. That's where we're at. Okay, so this is one of those poses we're going to play with both the revolved and the normal variation. So to get to a vault, the regular extended side angle, drop that left elbow to the left side and continue to let the right arm reach forward nice and long. And just feel if you can reach those fingers so long that the low back is kind of tugged. It's kind of that lateral section of it. Okay. Easing out of that shape toward warrior two. And the way we go toward the revolved variation of that pose is shifting back toward warrior one. So right now the hips are open to the side. We need to square the hips back to the top. Sweep the arms up. And then for that extended side angle, this right arm tries to drop toward the floor. You can be on the back heel. Be on the toes with the heel up. And then this top arm, you feel the shoulders to stack. And that top arm starts to reach toward front of the room. Good. Ease out of that. The back heel goes down. Sweep the arms up. Warrior one. Inhale. Exhale. Warrior two. Good. The next one that we're playing with in both variations is triangle. So straighten the front leg. Reach the left arm forward. And then drop that hand down. The top arm just lifts up. And notice how approaching it in that way helps the low back to stay stable, to stay strong and aligned. Good. Easing our way back up. To get to the revolved, we need to square the hips back forward, so shorten the stance a little bit. The front leg is straight this time. As we bring that right arm forward, reach forward, and then find the shin or the floor. Peel this left shoulder back and try to get that left arm to stack. Good. Ease the way back up like a warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, open warrior two. The last one we have, practicing both, is a half moon. So we'll try to cartwheel the left hand to the outside of the left foot. So the leg rising, the shoulder lifting. Strength through the back. And then as the right hand works its way toward the floor, feel the hips squaring to the floor. Once the hips are even in that way, we can start to lift the left hand up as that revolved variation. Good, feel that low back. Take one more inhale. And exhale, drop everything down to a nice forward fold. Just give that spine that break. We've got the heater on, so I'm going to bump it off. Slow breaths to calm everything down. Then we'll start to ease our way up. Preparing to play with the second side. This will be left ankle onto right thigh. Trying to play with that balance. Maybe the hips start to sit back. Maybe hands can drop down, rotating that knee open. Good. Let this left knee start to float in front of us. Kick back, warrior three. Lounge softly, warrior one, arms rise. And the easeful twist, it's not doing too much. We're just hooking that left wrist and the right arm is opening up behind us. Yeah. Okay, rise back up, warrior one, inhale. Exhale, open, warrior two. Dropping the right elbow down. The left arm starts to reach forward. Feel the side of the low back getting pulled really long as that arm continues to point forward. And warrior two. To switch to the revolved variation, we need to square the hips back forward, warrior one, arms float up. And then we're reaching that left arm forward until we can find the floor. The back heel can be lifted, that's fine. Continue to stack this right shoulder as you reach that right arm forward toward front of room. Beautiful. Ease your way out, unwinding, the back heel is down, the arms float, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten the front leg, and then triangle pose, reach the right arm forward. Drop the right hand down, left hand stacks up. Good, rising back up. It's more like a pyramid pose. We get the hips to square back forward, shorten the stance. And then to go to that revolved triangle, the left hand needs to reach forward and then drop to floor. Right hand, we try to pull that shoulder to stack, and then the right arm lifts. Good, rising up, almost like kind of a half warrior one floating up. Open up, warrior two. Last thing, half moon, cartwheel the right fingers to the outside angle. Left hand starts to find the floor. Square the hips to the floor. And then right hand can begin to rise. Good, dropping that hand down, everything drops, forward fold. We'll head back to the child pose, down dog or flow from here. So inhale, half lift. Exhale, sliding the hands down, travel back, choose your option. We'll head to pigeon pose with our right leg here. So it's okay if you're kneeling, it's okay if you're in down dog, whatever way you like to get in towards that right leg forward. Begin to extend and then slide it there. So side of the right knee down. I like to make sure the back knee is scooted as far back as possible. And a double check for that sacrum. We're not letting it tilt all the way to one side. We're keeping it level as if we could have a serving tray on it. And then we can lower down to elbows. Starting to lower the right hip to the floor. The left leg swings around in front of us. We cradle the left leg out for a moment, giving it a couple of rocks. And when that starts to feel pretty good, we check to see if we can stack this left shin on top of the right shin. If not, just slide it in front and try to keep a little bit of flexion through the foot so that way you're not letting it sickle. That eventually weakens the ankle. So lots of strength there. Lift the spine up straight, tilt forward until fingers find the floor. And then if you can still continue to slide forward, you're welcome to do so. So the low back release, and especially the glutes and some of those really strong hip muscles opening. When we begin to come out of this side, we can use whatever variation helps us to get toward the next side. So you can go just to kneeling, you can go all the way up to down dog, whatever you like. If you'd like to wiggle for a few moments, that's beautiful. And eventually when you're ready, left leg can come through. That would set us up for that second side. Back leg scoots back, check that the sacrum is level, and then we can lower. Rocking onto the left hip, we can swing the right leg around, cradle it out when it comes in front. Give it a few rocks. And then try to see if the shin stack is possible. If not, just drop it forward. Straight spine, find the floor, and begin to make your way forward. When we're ready to rise up, this is that last minute or two before Shavasana, so scan through your body. If there's other beautiful poses or stretches we can give the body, go ahead and take any last things. All the way to that point where you feel ready for Shavasana, sooner or later, no rush. These deep breaths is like a massage, like an ocean wave coming in and out. Imagine that crossing over that low back area, helping to ease the low back, helping to comfort it, helping to heal it. Into deepen inhales and exhales. Invite little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually taking a nice fetal position off to one side. Feel free to enjoy 3 or 4 more breaths until you feel ready to rise. As we arise, the hands will join together in front of the heart. And we check in with how that low back feels after all this gentle strengthening and this stretching that we've done. And we feel how nice it is to send some of our focus, some of our energy downward. And so realize the next couple of days, if stress, if anxiety, if frazzlement is kind of in our system, a lot higher up energy, we can focus that energy down and give it to the earth. Feel rooted, feel grounded. Trust that we are nurtured. And so with that idea to help us continue forward with this good, healthy energy, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.